kind introduction, and I've been asked to keep this to 10 minutes because we're apparently keeping everyone from the coffee break, and I'd hate for that to happen. We do have 5 people from Oil and Gas Eurasia there, and one old friend here from 1992, so at least I know I've got an audience of 6 that are going to stay. When I started to look at what I was going to say today, I looked at 3 buzzwords which I saw in the title of what our session was supposed to be about. And those buzzwords which jumped out at me were modernization, new business, and particularly innovation. And probably I'm saying that from personal experience because 10 years ago, I was sitting alone without an investor with my laptop computer in a one-room apartment. And tomorrow night, we're going to be sponsoring the gala dinner at this conference to celebrate our 10-year anniversary as what I think, I'm not going to say we're the leading publication in the Russian oil and gas industry. I'll leave that to you. Many of you, I know, are our readers, and I'll leave you to say that if basically you're the judge. But the first thing, if I could put up, what is the definition of innovation? I pulled this off at the internet last night. And I also, by the way, had a 30-minute conversation with one of my Russian translators, who in turn had a 30-minute conversation with her 2 parents who are both engineers, to try to find out if there are cultural nuances in how the word innovation is thought of in an American psyche, in a European psyche, or a Russian psyche. And we came to the conclusion that there were several variations. So excuse me if what I present is American, but what can I say? I've lived here 16 years, but I'm from Chicago. So it's going to have an American twist to it. Innovation is a process by which an idea or invention is translated into a good or a service, that's a product or a service, for which people will pay. To be called an innovation, an idea must be repeatable. It must be replicable at an economic cost. In other words, you have to produce them, and you have to be able to sell them, whether it's service, whether it's product. And it has to specify, it has to satisfy a particular need. Innovation involves deliberate application of information, imagination, and initiative in deriving a greater or different value from resources. And this encompasses all processes by which new ideas are generated and converted into useful products. Now, I want to talk about how culture can be your own worst enemy. And again, with all apologies, if any of you think that what I'm saying might be seen as a bit critical, I have lived here 16 years, and I have run 3 businesses, the last 10 years, my own business, which I built from scratch. Information, one of the keys to innovation. Control. Everything is a secret. All foreigners are spies. Imagination. The youngest school child is taught that you have to conform. Don't think out of the box. Parrot what your teachers tell you. If there are any teachers in the room, think about that when you're talking to young children. Have them think out of the box if you want to innovate in an innovative business climate in the future. And the last one, and this is the big one, initiative will be punished. I was joking with my friend Dmitry Masyenko, who owns his own business, Oil Market Magazine, and he says to me, initiative is always punished, but if you don't take initiative, you go nowhere, so just assume you're going to be punished. Now, who in this room knows that President Medvedev is visiting Silicon Valley this week? Who knows that? Okay, everybody knows that? Okay, well, he's visiting Silicon Valley this week. As we speak, he's flying to the United States for a summit with Obama. The agenda is the usual: security, macroeconomics, WTO, but he's also going to Silicon Valley. His reasoning? He wants a Russian Silicon Valley. Actually, the country is big enough for many Russian Silicon Valleys. and it has the scientific basis and the scientific potential to create many Silicon Valleys. That's fantastic. But I'd also like to say that I have friends who are Moscow State University graduates, many of whose classmates had to immigrate to Silicon Valley in order to start their own businesses. Why? Because they were afraid to start businesses here. They were afraid that once they became successful, once they became profitable, somebody might come knocking on their door. And I believe in small business. I believe in entrepreneurship. And we've always promoted this on the pages of Oil and Gas Eurasia because it's something that I personally consider to be a core value. Now, we're talking about property rights, we're talking about WTO security, macroeconomics. Presidents can solve these problems. And I happen to really like and respect President Medvedev because I think he really in his heart wants to make some of these things happen. But, chinovniki, bureaucrats, you all know what we're talking about, however we want to candy coat it. You all know what we're talking about, and they remain a law unto themselves.